Post AM. I'm Mark Bell. Glad to be here this morning. It's going to be open lines all night long. And in the next hour, I may open the Antichrist line. I've been kind of working up to this now for a while, spurred on by my audience, made the suggestion. Matter of fact, it was Jim in Vancouver who made the original suggestion that we open an Antichrist line. And this all came from discussion about whether the Antichrist, many people believe the Antichrist is now alive. Now, that kind of turned into a discussion the other night of, well, if he is, what do you think he is doing right now? And that's still a really good question, by the way. What do you think he's doing right now, the Antichrist, if he's out there? And that evolved into, well then, why not open a line? I know there are those out there who believe they are the Antichrist, and maybe they are. And maybe they're not. Maybe they're deluding themselves in some way. Maybe they're experiencing some sort of mental illness, elevator not going to all floors, that sort of thing. And maybe the real thing is out there. We'll see. Regular news, 8 states held primaries Tuesday night. California dominated the political landscape with an open seat for governor. And the U.S. Senate and 2 far-reaching ballot initiatives to weaken organized labor's political muscle and eliminate bilingual education. Monica Lewinsky has sacked her lawyer, Ginsburg. There are 2 more. The special prosecutor says he welcomes their presence. Independent counsel Kenneth Starr asked the Supreme Court Tuesday to rule on whether or not Secret Service employees in the White House aide must testify before a grand jury. There, I may see a problem. I wonder how the rest of you feel about it. The Secret Service, because of the job that it does, must by its very nature be really, really intimate with the president and the first family. And it's just the way it is. And of course they are charged with protecting other heads of state who come here from elsewhere. And I'm not altogether sure that they should testify. They probably should have some sort of immunity. I mean, if you go to the basic question of what they're required to do, what their job is, and if the president has to worry that the man who is standing there, and it is a big intrusion into a private life, no question about it, that man who always has to be present could be required to testify about anything. I don't know that is such a good idea. What do you think? Shuttle on the way to Mir stabilized, it should go okay. India and Pakistan are now capable of arming warplanes with nukes, and probably will be able to deploy warheads on missiles in a year or 2. This is from the Clinton administration. Right? Phil Hartman's wife confessing to a friend that she killed the comic actor, but the man didn't believe the distraught woman until he arrived at the couple's home and found the body. So there you have it. She apparently confessed to this in a phone call. C-SPAN tonight ran something on the year 2000 problem. For those who thought Gary North was way over the line, an awful lot of what was heard on C-SPAN should have scared you in exactly the same way. By the way, again, with respect to the new Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan on Fox News Sunday, said, quote, "We're closer to nuclear war than at any time since the Cuban Missile Crisis." End of quote. And here I've got a very interesting article. We were talking about earthquakes, as you know. I suspect strongly, and I'm not afraid to say, because as far as I can see, the rest of the media is, that there is at least a possibility that the Indian and Pakistani nuclear testing caused the Afghan earthquake. Nobody wants to talk about that. And I'm sure there are lots of political reasons why they now think about 5,000 died in that earthquake. If one were to even suggest the possibility that an earthquake could be caused by a nuke detonated underground, that would make it an entirely different argument, wouldn't it? And so I think the media is intentionally staying away from even speculating about it for that reason. Now, what does that say to you? Did you know that the Russians were working on a bomb that would have actually the ability to penetrate deep in the earth, dropped from an airplane, specifically to cause an earthquake? Did you know they were working on that? Well, they were. They spent years working on it. An atomic bomb that would be dropped specifically to cause an earthquake, to trigger an earthquake. Now, I suspect we're working on it too. And that's a weapon of war. In other words, earth movement, or the production of earth movement, of an earthquake at the right moment, could be every bit as deadly as something detonated above ground, but you'd have a lot of advantage, really. If you caused a giant earthquake with an A-bomb or an H-bomb, you would cause incredible devastation, like a bomb, except your bomb would not be radiating. It would have gone underground, done its work, caused an earthquake, and you would have devastation and death, just the way you would if you dropped a bomb, minus the radiation. So I've got information right here from the Associated Press that indeed the Russians have been working on it. And you know, if they are working on it, we have worked on it, or we are now. Right? Am I right? I'm afraid I am. Anyway, open lines coming up.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998.
All right, this is going to be a completely open line night. Anything you want to talk about is fair game. So let's see, where to begin? East of the Rockies, you are on the air.
Hi, Archie.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. Hey, you had a guy on the other night that was talking about these ferrets, the animal guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good laugh on him. Must be a big hardy guy or something.
Yeah, he's, if you can see his photograph, he's got a lot of facial hair, a big beard.
God, when he laughed,
He's like
Santa Claus.
Yeah, it's like you're looking at Mr. Outdoors when you see him. I mean, he looks the part.
Oh, that's very healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And oh, you know what? I'm kind of glad you mentioned it, because I now have two PETA people. You know PETA, right?
Peter, as in,
No, PETA.
yeah.
People eating tasty animals. PETA. Anyway,
All right, then Peter.
two PETA people who want to come on and debate him, and I lost his number.
Oh, gosh.
So when I get it, I'm going to set up that debate.
Listen,
Yes.
then you have the ferret eating faces.
Yeah. Ferret eating face eating
I
ferrets.
think it was about, I don't know, some time ago you were talking about this woman who was sitting on a porch and a pig ran across the lawn and jumped up on a porch and did it vigorously.
That's right. And I think that pig had to be shot by a cop.
You know, I called up Vince in Chicago and we checked the journals and everything else on it. And we couldn't figure out what part of the medical journals, what part of the anatomy of vigorously was.
Goodbye. It's something below the kneecap and above the ankle. That's where the vigorously area is. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
We get this radio off? I got it. Okay.
Good.
This is Nick from Oak Harbor, which is on Whidbey Island,
Hi, Nick.
which is near where the latest crop circles are.
Well, crop circles, maybe. You know, there's more evidence now pointing toward two rather terrestrial possibilities. One, high winds, very unusual high winds, and the other, a fertilization error. So we're not sure yet.
Okay, well, that's one of the things I wanted to report to you. The article in the Whidbey News Times last Saturday talked about the farmer who owned the field, who admitted that there had not been cow manure placed in that field for over 2 years. Okay, that's number one. The second place, we had no extremely high winds at the time that this was supposed to have been formed in that area.
Well, there are still unexplained things about it. I'm just saying that the people I've been hearing from have been suggesting that they think it's leaning in that direction.
Well, I can understand that, but you know, we live right here, and I went down and interviewed some people from there. We were down there 2 days last week. Thursday and Friday, as a matter of fact. No, Friday and Saturday, I'm sorry.
And
took some pictures, of course, and all the rest of it. And when we talked to, I interviewed a lady who said that she talked to people who had seen the area Wednesday of the previous week, and it wasn't there. And a man who saw it Thursday afternoon.
oh, look, it's entirely possible it was formed quickly. Now, I'd be the last one to say not. I don't want to take your crop circle away from you. But I'm simply saying, and I talked to Peter Davenport earlier this evening, that we're sort of leaning toward a natural explanation of some sort, as opposed to the wild card line. You're on the air.
Good evening, Mr. Bell.
Good evening to you.
It's been quite a while since I've spoken to you last.
How long is
Robert.
it? Robert, yes.
Hey, Center of Goats, welcome to the stream.
Oh, yes. That
Very interesting handle you got going on.
Good to hear from you.
Good to you.
Are they dwarf goats or pixie
No.
goats? Hey, Racer X.
Presently in Los
Are you
Angeles.
the same Racer X I play in Lead Chess?
And,
Hey, Nate
right,
Moore,
actually, the
2285.
process.
That's not 205, it's 285. I'm 205, bro. What's going down in
In the
Chinatown?
United States.
So, you're supposed to be calling on the Enterprise line.
Hey, Bill Beckler, 898. Welcome to the stream.
That's true. That is a... Seriously, though. No, it's very interesting because where I come from, our government is primarily libertarian.
Another dimension.
Yes.
So, where does that leave us libertarians in this dimension? Hopelessness? I mean,
No,
the only
not at
time
all.
we're going to get to libertarianism is in another dimension.
No, you have quite a good chance of it, actually. If you
Hey,
were
Carissa.
if all
Welcome to
of
the
the
stream.
people who
What's
claim
going
that
down
they
in
were going to
Chinatown?
their vote by voting libertarian were to do so, you'd have the same government that I do.
I'll take it down
Well, I don't
1,000
believe that at all.
degrees.
I mean, I
JoJo is back. You know, that's what I'm spraying. You know what I'm saying? Or do you know what
well, I
I'm
think
spraying,
that attitude is
JoJo?
changing a lot.
I know you
I
just
think that a
beating
lot
it
of
down,
people are
JoJo. Hey, taking Escondel. Hola, ¿cómo está, mi amigo? ¿Qué te va bien? Buena suerte hoy.
Same.
Estás muy bien, todos.
We had our primaries
Tekken.
in several of our states also.
Yes, I
Tekken
know.
Amsterdam.
And
Yo entiendo todos.
the Native American Party, as you would call it here, is
Hey, Erica. Juanita, hola, ¿cómo está mi amiga?
Yeah, but basically,
Buenos
basically,
días.
it's still the person with the most money that
Estupendo.
well, that's another
Billy.
convention.
Come.
See that your people are
Woo!
California are making the same inroads because the two most wealthy people running for the governor lost. The one with the least funds and least charisma, from what I could gather,
Well,
and in Gray Davis.
if that's true, then there really is a turnaround, and then maybe Francis Barwood in Arizona has a pretty good chance.
Well, I wanted to also bring up something disturbing.
On my show, something disturbing? Oh no! All we have is good news here. Okay, Robert, what?
Well, this whole situation with Indian taxes is very disturbing. There were, I've been gone for a while, back home,
To your dimension.
and
How are India and Pakistan doing over there?
we don't have any difficulty with nuclear power. Matter of fact, nuclear power is just that. It's used for power systems.
That's it. Nobody makes any bombs.
As a matter of fact,
Have you considered?
when the tests were first being done, and there was a possibility that when it was discovered that a bomb actually could be made.
Do you realize the risk you're running by being in our dimension? Was Patrick Moynihan, senator, said the other day we're closer to nuclear war right now than any time since Cuba.
Why do you think I keep a finger on the switch?
All right, Robert. Yes, well, you'd have a few minutes warning anyway. Wildcard line, you're on the air, huh?
Good evening there, Mr. Bell. This is Ben from Oregon.
Hello, Ben.
Say, Mr. Bell, you know the forecast made about Fatima?
Yes.
When I was a little boy,
You mean the third terrible secret?
well, before the first two were released, I was going to a Catholic school in about 1942 or 3. And the reason I'm saying this is a lady called me and she said, what are you going to do about it? Well, there was a prayer at the time, and it went like this. Your Lady of Fatima is come on bended knee to ask your intercession, peace and unity.
Sounds like a poem.
Yeah, and it actually in the part, it was a song, because
No, that's sufficient. I've got the idea.
at the end of it is, we come on, okay, in the end it more or less says, we pledge our love and offer thee, rose of each day. And that was the promise for Thor. The Fatima predictions was prayer to the Blessed Virgin. Theory being that being the mother of Christ, a son would be more likely to obey the will of his mother than the will of the people in general. And that was the prayer offered. And this, as I say, this went back to the original predictions in 1914, because I heard it in 1942 when I was in about the 3rd grade. So I thought that I would pass it on to you. And one more thing you might find of interest.
Yeah.
There are certain long-distance carriers that will ring your number up 60 times a full 5 minutes.
Really?
Oh, yes. So I have a new
Really?
carrier, and it's the Christian Digital Network.
The Christian Digital Network?
Oh, yeah, it's Christian.
You mean they're getting into phone companies now?
You betcha. And they're advertised on one of your competitive shows there,
Uh-huh.
and they ring a full 60 times.
Well, why don't they just let it ring and ring until there is, just ring and ring and ring? Why not? Well, anyway, I gotta go. It's the bottom of the hour. I remember the good old days when they'd let it ring, don't you? Today is silly.
This is Premier Networks. That was Art Bell hosting Coast to Coast AM on this Somewhere in Time. take you back to the past on Art Bell Somewhere in Time.
What do you think the Antichrist is doing right now?
Well, Art, I think he's probably doing a late-night radio program.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, probably next hour I'm beginning to feel like I'm getting in the mood. In the mood for an Antichrist line. And you gotta sort of feel for this delicately and carefully before you decide whether it's a good night to do it. That's what it is.
You're listening to Art Bell Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998.
And on the international line, you're on the air. Hello.
Good morning, Art. It's Darren in Winnipeg.
Winnipeg, yes, hi.
Yeah. A little bit cool peg these days.
Cool peg. It's cooling off up there, huh?
Yeah. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Plus, I wanted to talk about the nukes and earthquakes. But first, the way the weather has appeared last week or a week or so ago, we're getting weather that was like in the high, the mid 70s and during the day, and now it's only getting up to somewhere around the mid to high 50s, and we're somewhere around the mid low 30s in the evenings.
Yeah, but good Lord, man, you're in Canada. I mean, Canada's cold.
Yeah, I know, but it shouldn't be this cold at this time of the year, though, Art.
It shouldn't.
No.
No. What should
Normally it's warmer than this. This is.
Give me a typical temperature for June.
Typical, somewhere around the 75, 77, 78, something like that.
Instead, you're in the 50s, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or low 60s, for high during the day. And this all of a sudden happened. And there are parts of Manitoba where they had a little bit of snow overnight last night.
Well, I mean, obviously, we're in the middle of a weather change, so...
Obviously.
Yeah. Anyway, what else?
I wanted to talk a bit about the nukes and earthquakes.
Yes.
First of all, I tend to agree with you on possibly having an effect.
The question is,
having an effect. And,
the question is, why won't anybody talk about it?
Well, I guess they're scared and they don't want to admit that they're wrong. And even up here, in a non-nuclear power like Canada, we don't have nukes. Or, well, we have nuclear power plants, like for research and generating electricity in some provinces, but we don't have any nuclear weapons, at least not that I know of.
How do we know that you all up there don't have a secret cache? In fact, how do you know you don't have a secret cache?
I don't know. The government doesn't tell us much up here either.
You know, I mean, we're going through this big fishing dispute with you on the West Coast, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You never know how that might spiral out of control.
Yeah. And anyway, on our Discovery Channel up here last night, Okay, we have a program called Act Discovery Canada. It's a science news program, and
Yes.
one of the segments on it is called You Asked For It, where viewers can call in or write in by email with the question.
And what? And the question was?
And the question was whether or not nukes and earthquakes are related.
And the answer was?
The answer that that was given, that was no. Although seismic activity is noticed around the area and that, but it's officially that it doesn't. And that was the answer up here too.
I see. All right. Well, thank you. Yes, of course. I guess that's what they're going to say. But they're full of it. I think there's every possibility. I mean, look, Russia had an absolute program going on for years and years, to develop nuclear bombs that would be lowered into the ground or dropped from a plane in a warfare kind of situation, go at least 135 feet down, detonate, and cause earthquakes. That was the entire thrust of their program. And you know, if they're doing it, you know we are. You know we are. And to suggest that, you know, what scientists will tell you, of course, is that the power of a 6-point earthquake is just incredible compared to a nuclear detonation on the ground. But what they are not acknowledging is the sympathetic theory. That obviously if you produce a seismic event, 4-point something or another, I think they measured the one in Pakistan, to suggest that could not produce a sympathetic reaction in a fault line, you know, a tectonic movement that's getting ready to move anyway. That's crazy. They're crazy. There's another reason why they're not allowing for the possibility that it may be causing earthquakes. It may have a lot to do with, well, we tested here in Nevada near me. I remember when I lived in Las Vegas, when they were doing it, they would give us warnings. People in high places, up on buildings, way up, had to come inside during the time that we were testing. And you could feel the sway in Las Vegas. So, if you could feel the sway in Las Vegas from the test site 90 miles away, don't tell me, don't even try to tell me that there could not be a relationship between testing and earthquakes, because I'm not buying it. Because I think there could be. It's just they won't talk about it. It intrigues me. It intrigues me that the major media worldwide won't even talk about it. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Oh, this is in Colorado. See you on 630 KHRW.
That's the one.
It's funny you mentioned that about Afghanistan, the quake. It's the first thing I thought about as well, was the earthquake causing that. I mean, the nuclear testing.
Well, look, check me if I'm wrong here, but that's what everybody's telling me. And you know, is it a little strange that the talking heads who would normally talk themselves to death over something like this aren't even mentioning it?
Yeah, it might take a little bit too much investigating for them, and that's, they don't want to work too hard.
Oh no, I think it might have geopolitical implications that, well, there I said it.
That too. I was wondering if you might have spoken to Jim Brickman. Isn't he the geologist that...
Yep.
Right.
Jim has not commented on it, although I would welcome his comments on it. Most geologists are afraid to make such a suggestion. Maybe Jim Berkland, in his retired, who cares what I say kind of mode, might tell us.
Exactly. he seems to... Just that way, exactly. He's not afraid of the consequences. And I've listened to him several times. I thought he was...
Yeah, me too. All right, Jim, if you're out there, send me a fax. What do you think? Is it possible, Jim, Mr. Berkland, that a nuclear detonation in the, 1820 kiloton range, or megaton, if you talk about what the Indians detonated, could cause a reaction not all that far away in Afghanistan that could trigger an earthquake like this? Maybe Jim Berkland, since he's retired, you know, it's really hard to get people who have regular careers now, geologic careers of some sort, to comment on this, because I think it's a political real hot potato. You're on the air.
Yes. I was going to mention something about the Antichrist.
Oh, yes. What do you, first of all, do you think the Antichrist is now alive?
I'm not sure.
Do you think it's possible?
Well, I think it's possible. But I was going to ask you, have you ever heard anything about the Bible Code?
Oh, of course. Michael Drossman wrote the Bible Code.
Right. Well, I came across that on the internet, and I flipped through it. I found it very interesting, and I was reading all the articles where they had found out that once they believed it to be true, and then they found out that that could happen with any text, randomly. And they used Bill Gates as an example.
A lot of people think Bill Gates is the Antichrist.
Yeah, and they showed that Bill Gates was,
There are entire websites devoted to the fact that Bill Gates is the Antichrist. Personally, I don't think he's that bad at all. I have a little anger with him about the first days of Windows 95 and some of the bugs, but the Antichrist, no.
Well, the thing that I thought of is when I read that, because I realized that they were making fun, saying that Bill Gates could be the Antichrist.
If you think that's something, you should see what I've got here.
What's that?
I have, now this obviously has got to be a joke, of course. But it says here, Dateline, Redmond, Washington. World leaders reacted with stunned silence as Microsoft Corporation conducted an underground nuclear test at a secret facility in eastern Washington state. The device exploded at 9:22 a.m. Pacific time. Today was timed to coincide with talks between Microsoft and the U.S. Department of Justice over possible antitrust action. Then it supposedly quotes Mr. Gates here saying, Microsoft is going to defend its right to market its product by all necessary means.
Well, he definitely has a lot of power. And the thing that I think, though, is that I don't believe the Antichrist will know who he is. I believe he'll be more like a pawn.
But he might know. He might sort of have, the way you have a sense about things. See, that's why I think when I open, what do you think will happen if I open the Antichrist line?
I think you're going to get a lot of nuts calling in.
Well, there is that. But I mean, there's also the possibility, you've got to admit, slim though it may be, that the Antichrist is out. By the way, could the Antichrist be a woman?
I wouldn't see any reason why not. I don't know.
I mean, Christ, that was a man, right?
Yes.
So wouldn't it make sense that the Antichrist would be
A woman. Well, I don't know. Since you've been talking about it the last couple of nights, I decided to do a little bit of reading on it, and I was very surprised because I've heard a lot of people in different religions talk about the Antichrist and predict it in the end of the age and everything. But when I turned to a Strong's Concordance, Antichrist is only listed 4 times, and it's not even in the book of Revelations. It's in the book of 1st and 2nd John, and it's used as just as like a group of people that just don't profess Christ came in the flesh as the Son of God. So.
As Antichrist?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, it's going to be a hot, busy night. If the Antichrist is alive right now, what do you think she's doing?
I'm not saying it, but she...
Do I? Wouldn't even associate herself with the possibility. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
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 He's right.
Reasonably well. You are violating procedure with your radio up, aren't you?
My radio down.
Oh, that's your dog.
That's our dog, yeah. All right, the reason why I called
Yes.
is that 1983, I want to make this real quick. 1983, I checked out a book that says Florida Library. It was called Philadelphia Experiment.
Oh, yes.
Now, a few years ago, in Fayetteville, North Carolina, I tried to check out this book again. They did not have a copy of it. They told me they could do a search nationwide to all the libraries or borrow this copy for them.
Yes.
Well, when they did this, I went down a few days later to find out the results, and they told me that no library that they could come across had a copy of the book, but the book did not exist. Well, I would figure maybe I had the title wrong, which I doubt that I did, because I gotta check this book out.
No, it's called the Philadelphia Experiment.
You know, I checked it out for 2 weeks out of the library in Florida back in 1983. Now, I I cannot find a copy of this book anywhere. Everybody
All right. The best I can do for you, thank you for the call, and I'll do it, is to try and get hold of Al Bielek. It's been a while since I've talked to Al. Maybe too long. Oh, by the way, I've got some news for you. Now that I think about it, I'll hold it till after the top of the hour. But I have some important guest news for you. What's for the Rockies? You're on the air. Hello. Hello.
Oh,
Yes.
hi Art, how's it going? I got a few things I want to talk to you about. First of all, that phone ringing thing. What I've read about that is that,
What phone ringing thing?
you know...
Oh, you mean when you call me?
Right.
Yeah.
What I've read is that it takes a higher voltage for them to make the phone ring, so it costs them less if they cut it off to a certain amount of rings.
Oh, that's stupid.
That's what I've heard.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
The whole idea of cutting it off in the first place is stupid.
yeah,
And it's happened since
annoying.
we broke up the phone company.
yeah,
Before then, things were a lot different. Telephones weighed more, they worked better,
yeah,
sounded better.
yeah. And of
Now,
course, the other thing too is with the black boxes. That may be another motive behind it. Is you know, the black boxes works by when somebody picked up the other phone, it would think it was still ringing, and so that may be another reason for it.
are you a phone hacker?
Well, I read 2600. I know Eric Corley,
You are a phone hacker.
just sort of casually, but
Even knowing that number, it is the number of the hacker. 2600. You and I both know it.
you should have some hackers on your show sometime.
I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I'm already working on it.
good deal.
All right?
Eric Corley would be interested. I got a couple other things for you. I live in Coopville where that crop sort of rectangle appeared.
Yes.
I've seen it. It's interesting. You know, the people around here seem to have come to the conclusion that it's a combination of the rain and wind. That is a high wind area where it happens to be at. And I don't know what to make of it.
All right, thank you. What's to the Rockies? You're on the air. Hello.
Hello there. This is Fritz calling.
Ah, Fritz, the unmistakable voice of Fritz. How you doing?
Fine. First of all, I must make a correction. Last week when I said we had 2,066 nuclear explosion, it was 2,056. That's the exact count. Plus one Saturday, so that stands 2,057.
That's a bunch.
Now, I remember April the 26th, 1968, when the largest underground explosion took place outside Las Vegas. I was in place at 7 o'clock in the morning. I felt
Where were you?
I went outside Vegas.
The place to be, if you really wanted to experience it, was up at the top of a tall building in Las Vegas. And I did that several times, and man, I'll tell you, the ground, she rocks. Now, that's a long way away, Fritz.
But you have to realize why I went there, because I knew when we have underground nuclear explosion of any kind, UFOs will show up, and sure they did. The first thing, I still have the clipping, 4/26/68 on the sun, UFOs over Venus, so I knew they were over Vegas too, and sure enough, I saw them. They were right over my head. I tried to take pictures, but...
Makes sense to me, Fritz. I mean, it flat out makes sense. If they are there, they're definitely going to be interested in what we're doing in this area.
They measure everything. Every time we have an explosion, you watch for UFOs because of earthquake activity. That's common sense.
You know, we haven't been exploding nuclear devices underground, and maybe they had just about concluded that we had a handle on it. And if they did, then what do you suppose they concluded the other day?
Well, I mean, they're constantly observing us, and of course, with India and Pakistan, this is totally out of control. I mean, you've got two undernourished nations having a game here. Who's got the biggest weapon? I mean, it's insane. But remember, we were there with the Russians back 10, 15 years ago.
I know, but we aren't into martyrdom. And actually, the Russians are not either. Now, when you get into nations like Pakistan, that changes.
Well, they have a power struggle. It's like children playing with fire. And of course, the big daddy, that's the United States and the Europe nations, have to come together to stop that nonsense, because we've been through for 20, 30 years, the Cold War.
you have to graduate and come up off that level. Otherwise, like doctor says, you're the physicist said you're going to be a zero.
Yeah, we will remain a type 0 planet. Sterile, no doubt, at that. That was Dr. Michio Kaku. And by the way, the scientists that control the atomic clock, that clock which shows how close we are to self-destruction, I guess are having meetings right now deciding whether to move it closer to midnight and get head back away a little bit because of what's going on in India and Pakistan. We might get up to about 2 minutes or even less before midnight. Anyway, one thing's for sure, something's coming, and we're not going back.
The trip back in time continues with Art Bell hosting Coast to Coast AM. More somewhere in time coming up. Presents Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998.
Boy, do I have some big news for you. I just got a message from Robert Ghostwolf, and I can now confirm for you that Monday, June 15th, at 11 o'clock Pacific, we will have, for as far as I know, one of the first times in broadcast history, 2 Hopi elders on the program from the Hopi Cinema, Hopi Nation. Because we want to avoid any pressure or harassment being brought upon them from any source prior to the program, we are not going to give you the names until then. And I'm not even sure about that, but I think we may then. Certainly not prior to the program. We don't want pressure, and there will be pressure, I can assure you. The Hopi elders feel that the time of change, the time of earth change, is now so close that they have no choice but to go public. And as far as I know, this will be one of the first times that's ever been done. So it's going to be on this program, June 15th, 11 o'clock Pacific, or otherwise the second hour of the program. Thought you'd be interested. And good morning, everybody. I'm Art Bell. I just got a fax from Bill in Anchorage who says, Art, anyone who believes that the India-Pakistani nuclear test caused the Afghan earthquake simply does not understand geology, seismology, or the immense power of earthquakes and the forces required to trigger them. And I get a lot of this. And I understand that is the traditional view, the conventional wisdom view of geologists and scientists, but I think they're full of crap. And I think that nuclear tests, look, again, I'll say it this way. I've lived here near the test site for a long time. I worked in Las Vegas for well over a decade. Actually, well over a decade. And I was in Las Vegas when they did underground testing 90 miles away. And let me tell you right now, the buildings would rock and roll in Las Vegas. I mean, they would issue warnings to everybody outside working on windows or on high-rises or in precarious positions to get the hell inside. I issued those warnings on the radio. And then the bombs should go, and you'd go back and forth, and you'd sway, and there'd be like an earthquake. Now that's 90 miles away. And there's no way anybody's going to tell me that something that can produce that kind of earth movement 90 miles away it doesn't have the possibility of causing a sympathetic fracture is the wrong word, tectonic plate movement, and causing an earthquake. I'm steadfastly going to stick to my guns on this one. I think it's possible, and moreover, I think it's criminal that the world's media, and I mean the world's media, isn't even talking about it. Something's up. Why wouldn't they talk about it? And then, of course, tonight, there is the Antichrist. The Antichrist line. Here is a fact, Art. If the Antichrist is alive at this time, I'd suspect that he's likely sitting on a tropical beach, under the shade of a palm, sipping a tall, cool drink and rocking in a rocking chair. His business seems to be doing quite all right on its own, or rather with our collective help. So here's somebody who thinks the Antichrist is simply sort of laid back and thinking things are going pretty well for him right now.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998.
Just so that proper credit or blame is assigned, it was Jim in Vancouver, Canada. That's right, Vancouver, who suggested the Antichrist line. By writing the following: Hello, Art, love your show. Just a comment on the Antichrist. You asked on the air a few nights ago, what do you think the Antichrist is doing right now? It's true, I did. And he says, well, I feel the Antichrist doesn't even know he's the Antichrist. He won't know until just before the end, just like Judas who betrayed Christ. Judas himself didn't even know until it was too late. So he suggested the Antichrist line. Andy and Eureka seconds that, and all these other facts as I'm getting. Therefore, why not? Let us try it. I hereby reserve away what is normally our first time caller line, area code 702-727-1222, and I hereby cancel that line tonight, and I hereby assign it to anybody out there who believes he, or, and I might add, it's eminently possible it's a she. I mean, after all, Antichrist was a man. The Antichrist could be a woman. Got to consider that possibility. If you think you're the Antichrist, or you even, if you even just a little bit think you're the Antichrist, well, now is the time to call. The Antichrist line is hereby officially open. Now, I no doubt will not begin to answer it until the bottom of the hour because I'm going to screen the calls to be sure of what I get. You've got to have, if you're going to have an Antichrist line, you've got to have high-quality Antichrist calls. Well, they're going to drag me out of here one day. Anyway, there you have it. The Antichrist line, 702-727-1222. Now, it's ringing like crazy right now. Already. I was wondering earlier on, would it not ring? Will there not be any out there who will claim to be the Antichrist, or will there be many? I don't know. We'll find out. tonight. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm laughing at the Sandy Christ thing. I'm waiting to see what comes of it.
Well, what is your best guess?
You're going to get a lot of calls and there's going to be a lot of coops.
You think so?
I think so.
Now, the trick is going to be to sift through the coops
Right.
and see if you can, there's bound to be one voice in the middle of the night that's going to sound like the real thing.
I hope so.
You do?
Well, I don't hope so.
Now
but-
listen to you.
Well,
It sounds like you might be on his side.
no way. That isn't why I called, though.
Okay.
I couldn't get through the other night when you had the person on talking about the animals.
Ah, yes.
And then I believe it was last time we talked about the double-section polar bears.
That's right. Great news, huh?
Well, no. Old news.
No, it's not old news. I mean, they've had them before, but the incidence of it has gone up by many hundreds of percent.
Exactly. And in the last few years, I'm coming from the upstate New York area. There have been born one calf that I know of that was both totally male and female at the same time. Many other mutations, such as an extra set of legs here and there. One two-headed calf, killed and documented by NCON. A hunter killed it. He killed with the most beautiful set of antlers you ever saw.
Oh, brother.
So, I mean, the pollution or whatever is causing this,
Better living through chemicals, huh?
something like that. And people don't believe it. And, I mean, and this
You know what I wish? I wish that if we would mutate, we would get some extra useful appendages.
oh, okay.
Right.
This calf was totally healthy.
Now, I understand, and I appreciate your call, but think about it for a moment. If we're going to mutate, how about an eye in the back of the head? How about an arm out of your back? Can you imagine the things that we can do as human beings that we now can't do because we don't have these things? There are other possibilities. Sensory organs placed at different locales. I can just imagine all kinds of things, but it probably won't go that way, we'll end up with something horrible. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hey, Art, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Listen, of course there's a connection between nukes and earthquakes. You'd have to be a fool to think that there wasn't.
Well, but look, have you watched TV? Do you watch CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS? Nobody talks about it. Nobody even hints about it. Now, why would that be?
Well, I have an idea. Maybe this is all some sort of a preemptive measure for some other sort of event.
What do you mean?
With all of your changes that you hear about, that are predicted, that are prophesied. Maybe there is some world government somewhere that knows something and they're just trying to preempt the inevitable. Like lawn that kingdom come.
What do you think the Antichrist might be doing right now?
Probably waiting for you to answer the phone.
Class A answer, man. Class A answer. Well, he's out there. We're going to be getting to it toward the bottom of the hour here.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, thank you.
Good night, Art.
See you later. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing so far so good.
All right, this is George in Philadelphia.
Hi, George.
Okay, I had a call around before talking about Al Bielek and you were wondering where he is.
Well, not so much. I said I was going to try and contact him. You're going to have to talk real strong in your phone, yell at us.
All right.
All right, yeah, I've got a phone number for Al Bielek, and I should call it and see if I can find him. I think he's in Arizona.
Actually, no. I have a friend. Now, I used to live on Long Island, and I've actually been to the Montauk Project.
Yes.
There on the East End.
Yes.
And I actually have a friend who has been there without me, and she has seen him and the Duncan Cameron.
Yes.
They have both been in that area. There's a little residential area where there's some houses and whatever.
Well, I know Al moved to the south for a while, because I interviewed him once when he was there. Then he moved back to Arizona. Now, he may be traveling, but I think that his home is now in Arizona. I think.
Well, I know that I've been to the project before, and I know that they still have. In fact, there's still operations. There's still some of the satellite dishes are working there, and there's still people who have the military still there. And if you actually go on there and go to a certain level, to a certain point, they'll take you and they'll arrest you, basically, so get out of here.
Well, right. Secret stuff. Yeah. What can I say? All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll try and I'll see if I can get hold of that. He's out there somewhere. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi. Hello. Yes.
Oh, sorry about that.
Sorry about what?
I didn't, I had the radio on. I was waiting for you
I
on
see.
the radio.
I see. Okay. Well, here you are. Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles.
L.A.
I have some fuel to add to your fire on the earthquake.
Yes.
I'm surprised you missed this. You never missed anything.
Oh, I missed some things.
When they had the test in India,
Yeah.
I don't know how soon it was after that, but it was within a week. They had a 6.2.
China.
Yes, and then...
No, I didn't miss that. No, you're right. I didn't miss it. I had it on the air.
Oh, well, I was thinking that the pattern...
The one, though, that really blew me away was Pakistan and Afghanistan. Look at the map.
Oh, it was the pattern that blew me away.
Yep.
India, and the earthquake was northeast of India, Pakistan.
Oh, the big question, man, is all of you all know it. You're talking about it. Now I'm talking about it. Nobody else is talking about it.
Well, nobody else is as smart as we are.
Oh,
Tongue in cheek, of course. And the Antichrist couldn't be a woman because he's constantly referred to as a he.
Well, I know, but well, I know.
And I agree with one of your callers. I don't believe that he really realizes who he is, because when he comes into power, he's going to be a mighty person who's going to do a lot of good. And it's not until that first 3.5 years, and then I think the power will go to his head. He becomes pure evil.
Well, I'm not ruling out the possibility it's a woman.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not ruling out the possibility it's a woman.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm not.
Well, okay.
And besides, tonight we'll tell the story. I mean, we'll see. It's entirely possible the Antichrist will be a woman. And that the references to he just could have been a sort of sign of the times, where anything significant would have been a he. When you think about it, the Antichrist could easily be a woman. Out there, maybe working in an office. A housewife. Your bus driver. Your school teacher. Your Sunday school teacher. Anybody. A wild card line, you're on the air, huh?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Oh, that's good. I just got one thing briefly.
Yes.
On the year 2K problem.
Y2K, yes.
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, you're pretty computer literate. What about basically just never letting the computer get to 00?
Well, Gary North talked a little bit about that, for example, skipping the year and just going to 2001 for a year.
Yeah.
And that might solve some problems. He looked at that possibility, but not many. And the problem with Y2K is that, there are a lot where they can't even do that. And all of this is written into code, which was compiled with compilers that don't even exist anymore, and it's going to turn over no matter what. And there's going to be a domino effect. Now, whether you buy into that serious an effect or not, I think clearly something is going to happen.
Yeah, I was thinking even if you always just sort of backtracked and kept it in 1999 for a few years, it might give you more headaches with the computer, but at least it wouldn't flip to 2000 and cause all this breakdown.
Well, we'll see. They had quite a deal on C-SPAN earlier today about it, and it seems to me that most of what Gary North said seemed to be pretty much right on track. That's just me. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Oh, hi, Art. I've got a news flash for you. This is Mark in Houston.
Yes, Mark.
I listened to you on KTRH.
That's the one.
We had an astronaut imposter arrested here at Johnson Space Center today.
An astronaut imposter?
Yes, sir. Unbelievable.
You're kidding.
Do we have security over there or what? he actually didn't have a house or an apartment. He had an RV. I know there's been a lot of cutbacks, but I mean, that's kind of impossible to believe. But he had top-level access. He went to Pensacola, and he flew a trainer, and then he went to Corpus Christi Naval Air Station. He flew a jet down there, and he just cruised around. And I need you to do a little, follow-up on that. I didn't catch it all on the news tonight, but I wanted you to be the first one to know, because I know you got a lot of connections. You was
That is weird. What was the object of the impersonation? Why?
I really don't know. I didn't have the TV turned up, and I didn't get all the full story, but they went out and interviewed the neighbors at the RV park.
Maybe he wanted to take a ride.
He was a wannabe. He actually had the top level security. He actually sat at the console for 2 days during one of the launch missions.
You're kidding. Next thing we hear, he's going to be part of a crew, sort of a stowaway that manages to get on or something. Wouldn't that be incredible?
That's one of the basic things. Know the next guy to you. You don't know who you're working with.
All right, I thank you for the call. Yeah, if you've got the right badge, the right briefcase, and you look like you know where you're going, it is amazing where you can get. Coming up, the Antichrist Fly. First time ever.
This is Premier Networks. That was Art Bell hosting Coast to Coast AM on this Somewhere in Time. Listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998.
I hear somebody in North Dakota says the Antichrist will not be calling tonight because he doesn't listen to your program. And he has too much on his mind. He's busy. Well, who knows? Wouldn't you imagine that if he or she is out there, that he or she would definitely listen to this program? Maybe more than any other. You bet. Now, how would we know, writes somebody else, that we've got the real Antichrist? In other words, actually, Kevin in Tampa says, just out of curiosity, what happens if the real Antichrist calls in? Would we believe him/her? Well, that's going to be a problem, of course. I mean, you can only kind of go by vibes, what you feel. You've got to imagine the probability that most are not the real thing, but that out of the calls that you're going to hear, and you're going to hear them because the line's ringing off the hook, that out there somewhere, The Antichrist could be alive and would call in. And it would be up to you to discern when you really heard that voice. In answer again to the question of what the Antichrist is doing right now, somebody wrote early on a late night radio program.
Now, we take you back to the past on Art Bell Somewhere in Time.
If the Antichrist is in the U.S., what state do you think the Antichrist would most likely be in? Everybody's going to say California, right? Well, that'd be the thing. Might fool you. The Antichrist might be in a really rural state like North or South Dakota, Arkansas. You never know. Just to fool you. While you're thinking the Antichrist is in California, actually, he's in the heartland. Maybe even the Bible Belt. You gotta imagine that too, right? Anyway, that line is about to get activated. On the Antichrist line. You're on the air. Hello there? Hello. You're on the air.
Yeah. My name is Nicholas.
Nicholas.
I'm from Kentucky.
Nicholas in Kentucky, already suspicious.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know. Nicholas, I can imagine that somebody of true evil would take a name associated with great joy, as in St. Nicholas, as in...
Well, it was given to me by my mother, so I'm not sure about that.
Your mother, huh?
Yeah, it's a little difficult for me to talk about.
I understand that. I mean, how long have you...
About 6 months.
You believe that you're the Antichrist for 6 months?
And I would not claim to believe that, but it's something that seems to be coming forced upon me.
Forced? Well, of course, you can't help yourself, right?
No, it doesn't seem so.
In what way has it begun to manifest itself in you? I mean, do you think constant evil thoughts? Are you immoral?
No, not at all. In fact, if I can just relate what has happened that brought me to this conclusion, or is bringing me to this conclusion.
Yeah.
Last summer, my mother died in a car accident, and I was with her in the car. It was in August '97. We took her to the hospital, and she had about a day left. I really don't know much about her background. I never knew my father. But as far as I knew, she was raised in Eastern Kentucky. I was brought up Pentecostal. And she revealed to me that my grandmother, who's actually British, has been involved in things like the Temple's Golden Dawn. I knew nothing about this, frankly. And I was shocked at this, especially as a Christian. But afterwards, strange events, I guess you call them, began to happen.
Like what?
Well, for one, my occipital bone in our accident was seriously damaged, and I essentially lost sight in both of my eyes. And according to at least the doctors, I was not supposed to regain sight because once that bone is damaged, trauma to the optic nerve and so forth.
But you regained sight.
I regained sight, and
well, what does that have to do with being the Antichrist?
Well, it doesn't have anything to do actually. What's strange is, as I was regaining sight, for one, the scar left above my right eyebrow.
What does that have to do with
it? It's
me?
actually a 666.
Oh, now that has a lot to do with it. You have a 666 scar?
A minute 666 scar.
Oh my word.
And what happened after this?
When did you find that?
Excuse me?
When did you find that?
Essentially when I regained sight.
Oh.
I thought, you can't...
Boy, better to stay blind. Come back and take a look and find. And you can actually discern 6.
It's clearly discernible.
Oh.
I haven't really... The traumatic things that began to happen, though, were after this, one of the preachers that my mother had contact with
yes,
had visited to come to the funeral and so forth, obviously. And he had some very strange things to say about the situation. Basically, that he was seeing some sort of. I'll preface this with the fact that, I mean, I was trained as a scientist in college. I don't go in for astrology, things like this.
A lot of people always did think that the Antichrist would be a scientist, by the way.
Well, I'm a geneticist.
Oh, that cinches it right there.
Why is that?
Well, because it's just something that everybody figures. Genetics, scientists, 3 6s. You're doing real well here. Now I see why you believe you might be the Antichrist.
Well, it has nothing to do with science, actually.
How old are you?
I'm now 31.
31.
I was born in the Summer of Love.
Summer of Love. Love child, no doubt, huh? Is that what your mom said?
Yes.
Well, you're a pretty scary dude. I mean, what do you think lays in the future for you?
Well, right now, I'm not working. I have a small trust fund left for my mother that is very small. I mean, I'm not talking wealthy. And I'm basically staying in. What has been happening is, after this incident, the preacher that my mother knew, that he saw some sort of terrible aura around me now, basically a black aura, and wanted me to come to his church.
Yeah.
I came, and an elderly woman there, who was arthritic, asked me to heal her. And this, to me, seemed ridiculous. I actually put my hand on her. She took my hand,
yes,
and placed it on hers,
yes,
her arthritic hand. And about a week later, I received a call to come and visit her that she was healed. And she was. Her hand, I mean, I think this is wonderful. Her hand was fine within the 20s.
Have you considered some sort of surgery to erase this 666?
Yes, I have. And
I mean, it just probably in Kentucky. Of course, what do you do? How do you cover it up?
The problem is that the actual star is reflected in the bone. I talked to a doctor about this a month ago.
You mean to say they saw it in X-ray?
There is a star 666 on the occipital bone.
Oh my God. Well.
And what's becoming odd about this is...
How old are you?
I said 31.
31. Boy, that'd be just about the right age, too.
Well, the odd thing now is that I began again to go to church. I quit when I went to finish my PhD.
Do you think that when you're in church, those around you and or the priest detect and feel something, they know they're in the presence of you?
Yes, in fact, over the past 6 months, I've talked with several rabbis, several Catholic priests, one Greek Orthodox priest, several Native American church leaders, actually not the Native American church, but elders. I've talked with dozens of people, and basically they have the same responses. As one priest told me, I've healed about 12 people now, and people have this gift, and I can't explain that. It's a wonderful gift, but he told me that based on a lot of dreams I was having, dreams of the world on fire, things like this.
Yes.
He said that, he explained to me, he said, you have a faith, and a faith, not anything that can be done about it. And I can accept it. Like I said, I fell away during graduate school from this religion and from Christianity. But now, especially seeing some of this with my own eyes, and I detect nothing evil in it. In fact, it's a great gift. And I mean, basically what I've been doing is I'm at home now, is working some of the theories I tried to finish in grad school.
Do me a big favor, will you?
Yeah.
Before you have any surgery, if you're going to, take a photograph of this.
I have extras.
Oh, God, send me one of them.
Okay.
I will.
Is it fax?
Oh no, faxes are insufficient for this. Mail it to me. Would you send that to me?
I gladly do.
All right, thank you very, very much. Wow, well, there's a good beginning. Or a bad beginning, depending on how you look at it. X-rays, huh? actual x-rays of 666 on the bone, along with what his mom told him. Okay, wildcard line, you're on the air. Hello.
Yeah, this is Chris. I'm calling from WGST.
No, that's Atlanta, Georgia. Chris, turn your radio off. That's number one.
Okay.
You gotta turn it off. Now, what's on your mind?
I was watching the news the other day, or actually the Discovery Channel,
Yes?
and they had something about the Sphinx on there that's possibly dated 13,000 years before the Egyptians.
There are many who believe that, yes.
And I remember seeing something on sightings one night about they had Edgar Casey, the sleeping prophet.
Yes.
And he said that there was a chamber underneath the front paw.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, most people know that. I had Edgar Casey's son. I interviewed him. I did that about a month and a half ago or so.
Yeah, and when they were doing that thing, they had some geologists doing the Sphinx, and they found a chamber underneath when they were testing the ground below.
Well, they have had scientists there that have done studies with ground-penetrating radar.
Yeah.
Which may or may not be trustworthy. They're doing some experiments right now over there to try and determine the trustworthiness of the images shown with ground-penetrating radar. And the way to do that, obviously, is to dig a chamber yourself and then to test your ground-penetrating radar and see if it shows an equivalent of what you're seeing or think you're seeing. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hey, buddy.
Hey there. Turn your radio off.
Carl in Minneapolis. The radio's down.
Good for you.
I have two topics that are of vital importance to the world and to all of your listeners.
All right. Well, if it's the world, it's going to include my listeners. Number one.
To make the world a better place. Number one was the jet stream coming down on deck. I heard that on your show about 3 years ago.
That's right. Dave said it would happen.
It happened here in Minneapolis
I know it.
the other day.
I know it.
And I believe that the tornado caused by the El Nino, the quarter-mile wide tornado, sucked the airstream down right on deck.
Well, anything's possible, but the fact is, Ed Dames said it would begin to happen, and when he said it 3 years ago, people laughed.
It's happening, people.
You know, they said jet stream on the ground. Ha ha ha. Well, guess what? It's underway right now, huh?
Happening.
You know.
Gary, and wake up, people, and please pay attention. Now, my second topic, sir.
Yes.
Regarding your Guinness Book of World Record for the most consecutive hours on the radio at one time.
That's right.
How many hours is that?
116 hours and 15 minutes, and it no longer is a record. Hasn't been for quite a while. A guy in Denver broke it.
Okay, well, check this out. I have a record that you did a lot of good, a lot better, a lot more good than that guy in Denver, I'm sure, with your record and what you did. And let's do it again, Art. Let's save a bunch of kids. Let's help some kids out.
You were trying to get
Let's do it.
All right,
People, listeners, let's get ourselves to have a radio telethon.
No, I wouldn't do it, no.
Ramona, it can be a tandem telethon.
No, I'm not doing it anymore. No way. As a matter of fact, I am convinced that doing that affected me for life. I was on the air for 116 hours and 15 minutes consecutively, which was from Monday morning through Saturday afternoon. And I had visions. I'll talk to you about it sometime. It was really, really interesting what it did to me. Well, let me see. On my Antichrist line, you are on the air. Hello.
Hey there.
Hey there.
Dennis from...
Dennis, turn your radio off first.
Just a moment. I'm back.
All right. Why do you believe you might be the Antichrist?
Well, I'm sorry that I have to say I am not the Antichrist.
Well, then why have you called this line?
Because I want to tell you that those that have the name Vicarious Filii Dei.
No. Call me on another line. That's the Antichrist line. Now you see when I answer it randomly, that's what I get. That's what I get. Let me try again. Antichrist line, you're on the air. Hello.
Oh, Art.
Yes.
I'm not the Antichrist.
Well, then you're on the wrong line, CC. That is only for people who believe they are the Antichrist. Like the first guy. So don't call me on that line. I mean, you're just wasting money is all. Only if you think you're the Antichrist should you call that number. The Antichrist line, you're on the air.
Hi. I just woke up and picked up the phone.
Are you the Antichrist?
I certainly hope not. I don't know what's going on here. I just picked up.
Why did you do that? When I have an Antichrist line here.
No. Oh, then this is happening again.
It's happening again. It's like a terrible nightmare.
No, oh man.
Maybe you are the Antichrist. Maybe you just were awakened by even, like your ears, your pointed ears were burning.
Is this a joke?
No.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
This is you just now woke up. You really mean that?
My phone just started ringing.
Your phone rang. And there I was, right? Is that correct? Is that what you're telling me? Your phone rang.
Okay, something's silly going on here.
Oh, yeah? I don't know. You came out of a deep sleep? Is that what I'm to understand?
I'm to understand. Oh, my. Okay.
Okay, what?
I knew this was coming.
It is you, isn't it? Isn't it?
Oh, man.
Don't breathe hard. Speak. Time is money.
This kid...
You more than anybody ought to know that.
They kept telling me every time when the phone rings, pick it up. Oh, my. Okay.
All right. Well, we gotta go. I'm Art Bell. This is Coast to Coast AM. The Antichrist line is alive.
The trip back in time continues with Art Bell hosting Coast to Coast AM. More somewhere in time coming up.
And the devil jumped up on the hatred drums and boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know it, but I am a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you played pretty good fiddle, boy, but give the devil his due. I'm gonna fiddle with gold against your soul, cause I think I'm better than you. The boy said, my name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet, you're gonna regret, cause I'm the best that's ever been.
Take you back to the past on Art Bell Somewhere in Time.
Well, folks, we've got the Antichrist line open. It's open right now. And we have canceled the first-time caller line for the night. loading into the Antichrist line already. There have been a couple of very unnerving calls.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998.
Okay, here we go again. On the Antichrist line. You're on here. Hello. You claim to be the Antichrist?
No. What I know to be who I am.
Well, this is the Antichrist line, so that's who you got to be. Well, let's... As far as I'm concerned, that's who you are. All right. Do you have the radio on?
No, I do not.
What am I hearing in the background? Yes, I am. Unless you're projecting that into my head and in the heads of all my listeners, because they can hear it too.
I am projecting that in your head.
All right. Well, you're out of here. You might have been good, but you're out of here. I don't care if you are the Antichrist. If you don't turn down your radio, you get blown out of here every time. International line, you're on the air.
Good morning, Art. How are you this morning? I'm calling from Econ Nova Scotia. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
Great. One thing your show is not, and that's boring.
No.
Very interesting.
Yep.
But, the call just before the hour there, that fella, you shouldn't have woke him up like that.
That was pretty weird. I mean, it's like the connection was simply made by a third party.
Sure it was. Everyone knows that the Antichrist was on South Park several episodes back.
I know, and they had him in a battle with Jesus.
That's right.
Right?
It was quite the battle.
And if I could come up now, see, that has of course occurred to me. If I could come up with a really good sounding Antichrist, one who really might be the real thing, or sounds to be the real thing, then I might go for the other side, and then we could have such a battle right here between good and evil.
Well, I'm sure we'll be putting vague thoughts on it anyway. Well, actually, the reason I was calling tonight, Art, was I was just reading in the local paper here just over the weekend, and I guess it was Monday. South Dakota, today, June 3rd, 1998, I think they're unveiling the first portion of the largest sculptural undertaking in the world. That was the Crazy Horse Monument?
Yes.
You knew about that, did you?
I heard about that.
I guess it's just the head and face section right now, and it's supposedly gazing sternly over the
That's right.
South Dakota mountaintops.
That's right.
Head being 9 stories high. And I guess when it's finished, it's going to be complete with horse. Outstretched arm will be as long as the football field, and overall it'll dwarf the pyramids.
Did you see the man who worked on that all of his life? They did a story on it. They did a story on it. And now his family is carrying the work on it.
That's right. For the past 50 years, I guess you've been working on it.
You got it.
That's quite an undertaking.
It's his life's work. I appreciate your call, and now his family is going to carry it on. Well, dare I once again pick it up? It's ringing like crazy. Never stops. It's ringing, ringing, ringing. It's ringing. The Antichrist line, you're on the air. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, it's all talk Art.
You've got me.
This is Ron.
Yes.
Yeah, this is, well, I'm not going to say my name, Art. But,
No.
I've been listening to you off and on. My dad is a fan of yours.
Listen, this line, you know what this line is for, right?
Yes, I do.
All right. All right. Well, then, is it you?
Well, Art, you're on a subject that has been kind of in and out of my life.
In what way?
And,
In what way?
well, we're talking dreams from the time I was 11 years old. When I started to believe that I had
I can barely hear you. You had a dream about what?
well, describe the dream and take me a while, Art.
Well, I don't have a long time, so you've got to give us the nutshell version here.
Okay, you're on the air and talking at the same time.
Well, yeah, it's how.
Okay, you're talking about Antichrist. First of all, I want to know why are you thinking? First of all, you're bringing up things that are negative.
Because that's what I do.
Why not you?
That's what I do.
You're bringing people to think negative thoughts here.
Well,
and we may, you know what, we may bring about the world through our thoughts.
Through my show.
No,
my show can destroy the entire. It can destroy the entire world.
So people are going to do it.
Well, if that's what happened, wouldn't that be right down your alley?
Well, I don't want to see that.
Well, then you must not be the Antichrist.
Is that right?
Yeah. So see, you're saved.
How do you know what anti means?
Well, I know. I've certainly read about Christ's life, and if it's anti.
My brother.
All right. Well, now see, you are not even close to the Antichrist. You weaseled your way around until you were about to preach to me. Not going to happen. Antichrist line, you're on the air. Hello.
Art.
Yes.
You called. You asked me to call. What do you need?
Do you claim to be the Antichrist?
Yeah.
Oh, then there's many questions that I have for you. First of all, how do you know that you are the Antichrist?
How dare you?
I do.
Preconceived notions of what the Antichrist is.
I don't dare.
Have a valuable opportunity to talk.
I know.
I was not even.
I know. You tell me. You tell me.
I was not even planning on coming out to talk to the public.
Okay.
But this is the first show ever that said, "Will the real Antichrist please stand up?"
That's correct.
I was very intrigued, and just as an aside, I must say you have an excellent show. I don't know if it was fake, but a couple of months ago, my cousin had a birthday party. Said she was listening to This Unique Man at night. And although I do work during the day, I wish I was on the beach, as the other guy said, drinking a margarita.
Well, that's what people imagine, but you know what people imagine is rarely true. And you're right. How dare I imagine to know what the Antichrist is? So you tell me.
What the Antichrist
is, what the Antichrist wants,
is a man that comes along not by his choosing, just as Jesus was not by his own choosing.
That's right.
And I guess it was about the 4th or 5th grade, and I was able to project myself over and have outer body experiences.
Yes.
When I was in junior high school, I started having global thoughts as far as getting a sense that this is really hard to explain, and I don't want to take up a lot of your time trying to explain the thought processes involved, but God speaks through one person at a time during each generation. That person may not even know it. In every 500 years or so, that person feels it really strongly. In every 2,000 years or so, that person feels it strongly enough to be imbued with the Spirit of God. Now, people have a conception of the Antichrist that he is the devil. Believe me, I am not the devil. It's just that this time, I don't care about the world. You saw what happened the last time that I manifested myself. They now make love to a tree. It's not going to happen this time because I'm going to be incognito. I am allowed to start talking about it from the year 1998 on. That is why I permitted myself to call tonight. What is about to happen is going to happen. Even if I tell you what's going to happen, you will not be able to stop it.
That's quite all right. Tell me.
All right. Now, once again, you're a skeptic. You're thinking that this is a hoax, which is fine. It's going to start about...
No, I'm not making those kind of prejudgments. I'm really not. I'll listen to you. It's going to start when?
It's going to start... Well, it's already started. did not read your book, The Quickening, but I can grasp what it was probably about just by the inferences that you make to it. And you are right. Nature is going to play a part up to a point. But nature doesn't have to do anything. We're going to do it all to ourselves. We've already started. If you notice, we are animals. We have this mighty high opinion of ourselves, but we're nothing more than animals. And we are the same animal that evolved to take a very slow life that we used to live up until a couple hundred years ago. We are now way too fast. We talk before we think. The technology is bombarding us with no time to react, contemplate, and ponder our next action.
Okay, well, I don't need to hear what the current trends are. I know what they are.
All right, I am sorry. The year 2006 is when it will start. And it will start by the United States, which is the reason that I have decided that the world must reshuffle the deck. The world is not going to come to an end. We're just going to shuffle the deck. The United States economy will implode upon itself.
2006.
2006. I would start buying gold right now if anyone wants to believe. In the year 2006, world monetary speculators, just as they've done to Russia, just as they've done to Indonesia, just as they will do to Japan in about 6 or 7 months, are going to make a run on our currency. It'll be ours. You know that we have what we profess to be a $5 trillion debt, which is actually more like $18 trillion if you add in Medicaid and Social Security.
You're not sounding very Antichrist-like.
What the Antichrist is somebody that has the power to stop this.
Is that you?
Yes.
And by
I am a world.
And by
I have
what
the
means?
potential to be a world leader.
And by what? Well, sure. By what means will you stop it?
If I were to get into politics and become the president of the United States in the year 2000, but I have chosen not to because I have deemed this world not worthy of saving it.
In other words, under no conditions will you accept that job.
Yes.
Well, all right, then you cannot. Then, if asked, you would refuse.
I apologize for not hearing you last week.
If asked, you would refuse. You would not run.
No, I would run.
You would run.
If asked, but they will not ask. If Jesus came back, they would not believe him today. People today are so skeptical. They're so skeptical.
Of course they are. I mean, but say something to...
People think Bill Gates is Bill Clinton are the Antichrist right now. That's how...
Bill and Bill?
The first man who had a wreck of his car with a 666 on his forehead thinks he's the Antichrist.
Well, what about the guy last hour who had the 666 on his bone?
If he were the real Antichrist, he would have been born.
And were you?
No, because the whole idea of the 666 is a silly anecdotal phrase. It comes from some part of the Bible. It has no validity. It's true.
Well, now you're sounding more like him now.
I'm a nice guy.
Yep.
I have great love for the world. In fact, I have more respect for animals than I do most human beings.
Yeah, you come at it a little like Christopher Walken. You're now a little more believable. You're a nice guy, huh?
I'm a nice guy. I see the future. And at this time, you know what the cardinal sin is?
What?
Of this word. And I don't mean to sound cliche, but God is very upset about abortion. Not just because we have chosen to abort little babies.
Yeah, but you must be all in favor of abortion.
So you once again have the wrong idea of the Antichrist.
Really? The Antichrist is out there actually doing God's work, huh?
The first Christ was public. I am private. The first Christ had a positive outlook on the way the world could turn out. The Antichrist has seen the last 2,000 years and knows that it was not possible to save the world. Do you understand what I just said? The original Christ was public. I am private.
You are private.
the original Christ,
And what is
tried to redeem the world.
and what is your
I
role?
must cleanse the
You
world.
must cleanse it. All right. So what is your role going to be in bringing all of this on? You will bring it on.
I have already brought it on. The wheels are in motion. They cannot be stopped unless we take action right now. We are too silly and too stupid to take action right now.
All right. Well, I appreciate your call, but it seems to me the Antichrist would be more sure of himself. Not somebody saying, change your ways, get godly or else. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Hi, Art.
Hello.
Hey, this is Shirley. Calling from Jackson, Michigan.
Jackson, Michigan. Ah, yes.
I think you're the Antichrist. Let me tell you why.
Sure.
We can't get any work done around here because all these guys sit around and listen to you all night. Talking about aliens and,
That's right.
you know,
I mean,
the devil.
you've got to consider that. It's true. I talk about what? I talk about ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about spirits.
Right.
I talk about flying saucers.
Right.
I talk about, I mean, you're absolutely right.
Art, we can't even get our donuts delivered on time because our donut man listens to you in his car.
So you see, I'm affecting the flock.
Yeah. And I definitely don't think the Antichrist is a woman. That's
Now,
a man.
you are the second woman to say that,
That's right.
and that seems rather sexist. Now, if Christ was a male, as we know, then why could the Antichrist not even logically be female?
I just don't think a female. No way. It's got to be a male. I just wanted to let you know, Art, that these guys all love you and they're not getting any work done. You know.
Under the circumstances, I'm not sure they should love me.
But they do, and they didn't think I would get through, so.
Well, so see, guys, she got through.
That's right.
She was meant to get through tonight.
That's right. But we do love you, Art, and I hope you find what you're looking for.
Thank you.
Bye.
Me too. I wish that for everybody, that you find what you're looking for. On my Antichrist line, you are on the air. Hello.
You know who this is?
No?
This is not the Antichrist, but this is the anti-Antichrist, and my number is 999, and many people know it.
Well,
I was called as an 11-year-old boy.
Don't you have it turned upside down? Everybody else thinks it's 6 and 6 and 6.
I'm the anti-Antichrist. I am 999. I'm the Antichrist son, and people think I'm evil because I understand everything he thinks and everything he plans.
Now, you weren't listening. Did I ask for the anti-Antichrist? No, I asked for the Antichrist.
But Art,
So you're on the wrong line, aren't you?
well, this is very intriguing that people...
Intriguing maybe, but you're on the wrong line. I said Antichrist, not anti-anti, not Antichrist winner. Just Antichrist. You just don't listen. So frustrating. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
This is Dan in Virginia.
Yes, Dan in Virginia. How you doing?
Fantastic. Did you know yesterday that the the U.S. Capitol was exercised?
Yes, I heard that. Yes, I know that an exorcist went there, and I believe pointed a sword up toward the steps.
Yeah.
In a symbolic exorcism, and then after the ceremony, he declared he failed.
That I didn't hear.
Yeah, he declared he failed. And you can't imagine that one simple ceremony, particularly on the steps of the Capitol, could cleanse all that is wrong there.
No, I agree with that.
That's too many devils drive out all at once.
I just thought it was incredible that they even put it on the news.
They did.
Yeah.
It was one of those items they put on the news, and I thought, how appropriate and honest that he would say he failed.
Yeah, great.
All right.
Also, check with San Diego on the earthquake and the bombs.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you. Stan Deo has a view on the earthquake and the bombs, huh? Yes, I ought to do that. I'm Art Bell, and this is Coast to Coast AM.
The trip back in time continues with Art Bell hosting Coast to Coast AM. More somewhere in time coming up. Premier Networks presents Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998.
It well may be the Antichrist is located outside the country, right? Or he may be right here. So if the Antichrist is outside the country, then he needs to call me on the international line. You know, I forgot about that. How could I have let that slip? The Antichrist could be in Canada. Well, the Antichrist could be in Australia, New Zealand, British Isles, Switzerland, anywhere, right? So I'll have to take Antichrist calls on the international line as well, which of course is available to you right now. You get the AT&T operator in whatever country you're in, Transylvania, and call 800-893-0903, and you'll get through it. It's a free call from anywhere in the world.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998.
Okay, here we go again.
The Antichrist line. You're on the air.
Hello, my child.
Child? Your child?
It is I,
It is you, huh? It's really you.
the one and only.
How are we to know? What can you tell us that will make us believe you are the one? You live now and you are the one.
There is evil everywhere, for I am the one giving it out.
You're actually causing evil.
Our children are my children.
So you
What are our children doing?
evil things in many cases, and you claim to be responsible for that.
Who else could be responsible?
Good point. Good point. What are your plans for the future?
Destruction.
Utter destruction?
Utter destruction.
Fire and brimstone?
If you will, I tell one thing to all. 3 evil words.
Tommy Boy Malloy! Gotcha! WABC! Currently removed!
Yeah, you can't count. That was far more than 3 words. You're an underachiever. On my Antichrist line, you're on the air.
Neil Rogers is the Antichrist.
Neil Rogers? He hung up too. Think Neil Rogers is? Most people think Bill Gates or Bill Clinton. On my Antichrist line, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, is this Art Bell?
Good guess.
Hold on a second. Gotta get these earphones off my head, okay?
All right.
All right, you called in and you asked for verification.
Well, are you the Antichrist?
Okay, the parable is this. I'm either the Hebrew Messiah or I'm the Christian Antichrist. Am I the one person or am I 2 separate persons?
Well, you
You
tell
want
me.
some proof?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right.
Let's have it.
Okay. There are 6 beasts in Genesis. And they start from Canaan and go to Lamech. If you want to take these numbers down,
And all your listeners too, get their pencils out. You'll have the verification.
And how many numbers are there?
There are six numbers.
All right, give them to me.
Okay. Starting at Canaan now.
Now just give me the numbers.
Okay. That's 70.
70.
65.
65.
162.
162.
65.
65.
187.
187.
And 182.
182. And those are the numbers that prove that you are the Antichrist.
Now, hold on now.
70, 65.
Okay, now out of those numbers, you have to take Enoch's 65 years away. Because when you total 6 numbers, it comes to 731.
Yeah?
And if you take Enoch's 65 birth years away,
Yeah.
you end up with 666.
Well, I'll be darned if you don't. You sure do.
I know everything about the Bible and everything that's coming, Art.
You do?
Yes, call me back and have your caller make sure they want me to come on. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, there's the proof. 70, 65, 162, 65, 187, which is the murder thing, right? 182 is 731 minus 65. Obviously, 6, 6, 6. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi. Hello there.
Hello?
Hello.
Who's this?
Who do you think it is?
The Art Bell Show.
It's the only possibility. I'm the only one here.
Okay. That's good. Hey, Art, this is your affiliate, WKBZ in Muskegon, Michigan.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, it's Walt, the engineer.
Hi, Walt.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Art, you talking about the weather?
Yes.
We got our butt kicked.
I know.
Big time.
I know. Look, most of the meteorologists who have spoken on this have said the jet stream came and touched the ground.
That's it. You got it. We've been running on, you ready for this? We've been running on a World War II submarine diesel engine on a big generator since Sunday night.
Wow.
And the solid state transmitters don't like it because it's not frequency stable, so I
That's
fire up the old tube type.
That's right. That's right. Solid state gets real picky when you start getting a few cycles off.
Oh yeah, especially the transmitters because their modulation scheme is based on 60 cycles, and if it's even a cycle off, then it's not good.
Well, I know that, and I had to go and get a much better generator for my location here.
That's what we're thinking about here too. We had a problem getting the old diesel bird fired up, but we got it up and we kept going.
When do you expect that you're going to get commercial power back?
Well, the thing is, we've been on sporadically with the generator, but steady since about early Monday morning, and we had the power company. I finally called and complained and said, "We're media, get us back on." They showed up here about 11:30 with a truck and started going down the road, and we haven't seen it since.
Man.
Who knows? But in the state of Michigan, they still got over 200,000 people out of power.
My God, 200,000?
Yeah.
That's absolute. People have no idea how violent the weather has been.
Well, it was. Well, I stood at my front door and watched this storm come through, and it came through at 70 miles an hour, they said. And it was horizontal rain. I could swear there's trees uprooted all over the place here. And I could swear I saw the maples in my front yard. Those trunks were bent, and I was crossing my fingers.
That's scary stuff.
You got that right. My wife was sitting in the couch just going, "Oh my God."
You know, I've been saying, as you well know, for a long time now, that we are in the middle of a quickly changing weather pattern.
Oh, I believe it.
And I think it's self-evident now. Where it's going to go, I have no idea. But the fact that it is changing, no question about global warming, whatever you want to believe, is doing it. Something's doing it, and it is changing. That's all I know.
Yeah, I wish I had a Bajan pre-play with the light, I'll tell you that.
Well, my advice is to get on the list and get one.
Yeah, I've got some other stuff from Steve Crane. He's got a pretty cool. Very cool. Hey,
you know why?
Yeah.
Because when they began, they dedicated themselves to finding and selling the best, and they really meant it. And they test and they sell nothing but the best. It's a very unique company.
And it's very good too.
All right, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Art.
You take care. And thanks for keeping us up on the air with a generator. Imagine that. Since Sunday. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Oh, yes. Intriguing night, Art. This is Lee from Gig Harbor.
Yes.
I have possibly relevant little news clip for you.
All right.
This comes from the little metropolis of Hell, Michigan.
Hell, Michigan. There is indeed such a place, isn't there?
Yes, I've been there.
Uh-huh. And back.
And this news clip, they sent me this without saying what paper it came from, but probably came from the Jackson Citizen Patriot. And it states that it may be a little harder to go to hell this year because the bridge on the main road to hell is badly in need of repair, a project that could close the road for 3 months. And the business owners are complaining. The president of the Hell Chamber of Commerce, Jim Lade, claims it'll close the town and send stores into bankruptcy. So the officials acknowledge that the repair work is going to cause disruption, but they insist that their plans to fix the road to hell spring from good intentions. The road suffers damage each year when hell freezes.
When hell freezes over. Which I'm sure it does on a regular basis in Michigan.
Absolutely it does.
Is there any lore on why they named their town Hell?
I don't know. I have no idea. I went there many, many years ago, and at that time, in the 60s, it was a very, very tiny, tiny little town, which really didn't appear to have, outstanding natural features, like bubbly mud pots or anything. Just that you.
But you know what they could do that would really boost tourism?
What's that?
They could drill a really, really deep hole.
I thought about that hole when I saw this article.
Well, there you are. As you well know, we have, thank you very much for the call, the sounds from hell. We have those. And I've got them right here. Now, it is claimed that these were recorded in Siberia with a microphone that was located into actually lowered into, not all the way in, but lowered into a 9-mile deep hole. And here's what they came up with. Listen. Here it is. Yes.
Here.
Well, only you know that for sure. But yes, you're on the air.
I mean with you. That's good. This is Nick. Satan, Scratch, Beelzebub, the devil, the father of lies, the enemy of righteousness, the prince of darkness.
It is you.
I would say. Although I do appreciate the other callers.
Well, of course you do. They are your subjects. You have a sense of humor, I think, at least.
Well, sure. I was going to give you a little background.
What do you think about the guy who gave me the number 70, 65, 162, 65, 187, 182, and then deducted 65 to get 666? Was he on the mark?
Well, Lord, I don't work alone. So any subjects I can get to help and any help we can get, any false prophets or rumors are okay by me.
You even foster those. You want those. You want other people to even think they are you.
Even your program is very exciting to me at this time to share the lovely things that are in store.
Lovely things that are in store for us. Now, that's one very important question to ask you if you're willing to tell us what lies ahead.
Well, I'm a student of the past more than the future.
Aren't they one and the same usually?
Well, I am a great scholar in the past and dwell in the past and hope that the future holds great things for me and those who follow me.
What do you consider to be great things?
Well,
define great things.
You see, there needs to be opposition in all things. There could not be a God with
without
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That really, really, really makes sense. I mean, how would one delineate good if one did not have evil to consider?
You could not have good without bad. You could not have pleasure without pain.
So
you could not have light
so then
without darkness.
Exactly. So you would be into the pain part and the darkness.
Well, not necessarily pain. It's just my plan versus his plan. And you see, in the history of the past, when we part the veil and we go back beyond,
yes,
we find that there was 1/3 of all the house of heaven that followed me. That's 1/3 of all the souls who have ever been born into this world. That's a great number. Plus all the numbers
it's
who are
just about the number that elected our president, actually. It really is.
He's one of my favorites.
Yes.
You know that.
Yes.
Well, would you like to have one little history lesson and something you won't find in your Sunday school class?
That's why I'm here.
Well, let's go back. I don't know if you've ever done any Bigfoot shows. Have you ever done any Bigfoot shows?
Absolutely. I've done lots of Bigfoot
You know,
shows.
they've never found any that I know of, any real skeletons or anything of a giant hairy man.
And why would that be?
Well, back in the beginning of the world, just after Adam and Eve, they had two sons, Cain and Abel.
Yep.
And Cain killed his brother Abel, and he was cursed that he would never be able to be killed, that he would be a wanderer and a sojourner through the world. He said that was too terrible for him. Cain was one of my first and greatest followers. Cain is Sasquatch, Bigfoot, who still roams the earth today.
Wow. You're right. I never thought about that.
Would you like one more good one?
Whatever you're willing to offer.
Well, at the Tower of Babel was one of my greatest times. I don't know if you've read the Old Testament.
The Tower of Babel, anyway?
Yeah.
Yes.
The Tower of Babel was destroyed when the languages were confused. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, of course.
Well, the Tower of Babel, man, was all of one language. And I had great influence among the people. And they began to build a great project. This project they called a tower wasn't a large, tall building. But if you read the scripture carefully, it says that anything that would be imaginable to the people they would be able to accomplish, God had to destroy it. God had to destroy it, or man would be able to do it. That tower was not a tall, senseless building.
Is there to be...
Time transformer.
Yeah, I understand. Is there to be a final battle between good and you?
You know, good is kind of good is whoever wins. If I win, I'll be good.
Good is whoever wins.
Good is whoever
wins. Good. You gotta think about it that way, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Now, if I win, everyone will say that I'm good.
And will worship you.
Many do, already.
You're very serious, aren't you?
Sure. Many do. Bill Clinton
worships you.
Absolutely. Where do you think he gets his power?
You know, once I had the last time I had Father Malachi Martin on, I don't know whether you happen to hear that or not. No. He's a priest, has consulted...
many priests are followers of me.
Well, that may be true. But what I'm getting to here is I asked Father Martin whether Bill Clinton was perfectly possessed, and you know what he said? No comment. You find that humorous?
I find his power comes from a great and powerful source.
How long have you been aware of what and who you are?
Since the age of 12.
And your age now?
35.
It's not the right age. And you're certain of this? There is no...
I can see beyond the veil. I have seen beyond the veil from the beginning of time. I can go beyond and back and forth at will. And it's a great, wonderful experience. Because I can remember the things that all the people of this world did before they came here. All the things they did to put me down and to foil my plan and to take my power away.
And your day now is close, is it not?
It is at hand.
Your day is at hand.
My day is at hand.
So there will be the battle, it will be soon, and the winner will be worshipped.
The winner will be worshipped. And remember, 1/3 followed me then, and my numbers grow daily, hourly, minutely, secondly.
Well, I don't doubt that. In fact, in some ways, the mere fact that I opened the Antichrist line and I get so many calls that it's just utterly jammed with people saying they are the Antichrist may be a testimonial to everything you've just said.
The only problem is, with all the people that join me and my power, and my kingdom and my dominion, others get just as strong going the other way, becoming, you would call, righteous.
And you think there are equal numbers becoming righteous?
They're maybe not, no, I'm definitely gaining more ground. But the people who are becoming righteous are becoming more and more powerful in that righteousness, which is a great struggle for me.
All right, I appreciate your call, thank you. And your call is one that I'm going to have to think very hard about. This is Coast to Coast AM.
You're listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998. Listening to Art Bell, Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring Coast to Coast AM from June 2nd, 1998.
Somebody writes, boo, who said the Antichrist is a man? Just more patriarchal propaganda. Well, I agree. I just have not had any women call yet who claim to be that person. Somebody from New York writes, you're a very cruel person. Antichrist line. Maybe you should close the line and look in the mirror. Well, that's what I have my studio cam for. You know? Got a monitor right here. I'm looking at it. Oh my. You should see my studio pictures.
Somewhere in Time with Art Bell continues, courtesy of Premier Networks.
All right, here's another fact. Dear Art, yes, the Antichrist is in fact a woman. I know, because I was married to her. No one's figured out the 666 yet. The answer's in the Bible. When Satan was cast out of heaven, 1/3 of the angels were cast out with him. When Judgment Day comes, 1/3 of humanity will ascend to heaven. The remaining 2/3 will belong to Satan. Okay, write out 2/3 in decimal form. I get it. Good show, Art. Chris and Pocatello. I know. And, well, all right, then I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let's find out if it could be true. All right? This final hour is reserved, my Antichrist line is reserved for females only. Females only who think they're the Antichrist. That's what we're going to do. Let me repeat it so you all get it out there. Females only. Area code 702-727-1222. Females only. That way we'll find out if there are any out there claiming to be the Antichrist. That's it. Females only. Are you listening? West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Well, this is a good shot, Art.
Yes, sir.
Can I give you my perspective on this?
Absolutely.
It's very unusual.
Sure.
I believe that I was sitting in a jacuzzi with two friends, and for some reason I came up with a question. And I said, who is the most evil person you guys know on this planet?
And what did they say?
That you know personally, not Hitler or something.
Yeah.
And they both said I am at the same time.
Really?
And
you were in the hot tub with both of them?
Right. And I wiped the sweat from my brow, and I said, gee, I thought it was me. And basically, there's good and evil in every human being.
Right.
And that's what this is about. And it's in varying degrees. Nobody on this planet is 100% evil or 100% good.
Right. Well, except perhaps...
Well, Antichrist is those, think of the word, against Christ.
I've thought of it. Yeah.
And there's a lot of things against Christ.
I bet you got out of that hot tub quick.
No.
No?
We're all friends.
Well, you know what they say, birds of a feather take hot tubs together.
well, we're all growing. You know, we're kind of seeking people, as is everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's seeking.
I know.
But
I know, but you put them on tables and probes and stuff, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you, your show has a lot of food for thought.
It does. And some of it is rather indigestible, some of it digestible. This is a true story. Remember the person called earlier and said there was a fake astronaut? It's true. Let me read this to you. It's from my friend Robert, who sent it from KQMS AP. NASA's got some egg on its face. That after the arrest of a 48-year-old pilot for allegedly talking his way into some of the space agency's most secure areas with a long list of phony credentials. Jerry Whitridge is accused of repeatedly claiming that he was an astronaut, a CIA employee with a lifetime appointment, and a Medal of Honor winner. Investigators say he used a fake resume to gain access to a naval flight simulator, sit at the console of mission control at the Marshall Flight Center, and receive non-public technical material about the space shuttle. You've got to be kidding. He was arrested Sunday after using his false credentials in email exchanges with an official at the Naval Air Station in Pensacola, Florida. He was seeking clearance to fly a T-45 aircraft. NASA has yet to comment on his arrest. Incredible. West of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Yes. I was just wondering about the...
Turn your radio off. Number one. Before you can wonder at all, you've got to have your radio turned off.
Right.
Now you can wonder why.
I was wondering how a woman might know that she is the Antichrist if she thought she was.
I guess the same way a guy would know. I mean, you know, evil would speak to you or something. Right?
I was thinking it might be Alyssa Milano.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because, I mean, she brings up certain feelings.
Well, yeah, but you could say that about a lot of good-looking women, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess you could.
Temptation.
So, is the Antichrist, if she is a female, would she be an attractive woman?
That's a really good question. I would think probably yes.
So, I was just thinking, like...
There was an old song, Marry an Ugly Woman. You remember that? Way back in the 50s. I don't remember. Marry an ugly woman. Make an ugly woman your wife. You'll be happy for the rest of your life.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the song said.
I was thinking, the Papa Smurf.
The what?
Papa Smurf from the Smurfs.
The Smurfs?
Yeah. I mean, the Papa Smurf, he kind of had, like, control over the whole group. I was thinking maybe people behind that show, maybe they have something to do with the Antichrist.
May well be. Who knows? Thank you.
The Antichrist Live. You're on the air.
Hello there.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you.
Waiting for me to fill all morning. And I'm here. And I'm here. What is it you want to ask of me, Mr. Bell?
What are your plans?
My plans, Mr. Bell. My plans, Mr. Bell. The world is exquisitely evil. It always has been. It shall never be that way. And I shall rule supreme over it all, Mr. Bell.
That's enough of that one for me. Oh, man. Where did you get that sound in the background? That's kind of realistic. That was a really eerie sound, wasn't it? East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
This is Jess from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
How you doing, Jess?
Hey, okay. How you doing?
Well, I'm not sure at the moment, actually. I mean, the show goes on, but that was a pretty weird call. Anyway, what's up?
Comments. I was just thinking that Jesus appeared to have a essence of a female in him. The Antichrist would be a female with the essence of a man.
Yeah, same thing. Well, with the essence, you mean like a guy in touch with his feminine side, you mean something like that.
As opposed to what people like to call soul, which doesn't actually.
Could easily be.
You'll see.
Oh. See, I don't know. Hail Satan, huh? I haven't heard that since you know who was on the air. Hail Satan. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Digestive difficulties. East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
Art.
Yes.
I came across something tonight when your show was on about the Antichrist, and it makes me almost as crazy as some of the people you've got calling in, which really concerns me. I'm just gonna have to think about whether or not I should listen to your shows anymore.
Well, I tell you, maybe not.
Well, I was sitting at a distance from my computer, listening to the different callers, and after the first caller,
Yes.
you had come on the young man with the injury to his head or whatever.
Not an injury, a mark. Well,
Right,
a scar.
a mark.
A scar. And as a matter of fact,
But
a scar.
he was in an accident.
A scar that went to the bone.
Right, right. Well, you told us before it started to kind of use our, to discern.
Yeah, try to listen to the different ones. And
Right, and really, he was the only one that I felt might have been credible, and I really did feel sorry for him, that he might be up against that. But as I was looking